Hey guys. All right, it's all about the Kumahimo. So glad you guys like this project. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to make your own cardboard loom. You can't take home my styrofoam ones, but you can make your own and do this anytime you want. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm going to show you guys how to make a Kumahimo loom out of cardboard because I can't let you take these home. I need these for all of my future students. So here's what you're going to need. Piece of cardboard, like from a box or something. It needs to be like kind of hard. It can't be flimsy. You're going to need some sort of a lid. This lid is about 4.5 inches across. It can be a little bit smaller, like 3 to 4 inches. And some scissors. All right, here we go. So grab your lid and let's trace it on our cardboard. Now, the hardest part about this is actually cutting out your cardboard. So I want you to be really careful because you're not going to be able to use like student scissors. Even with my like big teacher scissors, it's hard. So if you need to ask a grown-up to help you, do it. Don't hurt yourself. Don't cut fingers and all of that. All right, I'm going to pause here, finish this, and I'll come right back. Okay, now I have my circle cut out. You are going to get 2 different color Sharpies. I'm going to use a green and a pink, just so I can kind of know where I'm going to cut. And I just kind of wing this, like I don't measure anything. I just kind of use my eyeballs to kind of estimate. So first I'm going to put a dot right in the center where I'm going to put my hole where, you know, my string's going to come out of there. Okay, so then let's think about a clock. I'm going to put a line at 12 o'clock and a line right below that at 6 o'clock. And then I'm going to do one at 3 o'clock. And I'm going to do one at 9 o'clock. So this is kind of easy because you can measure with your eyes. If you want to get your ruler out, you know, and just kind of put little marks here, here, and then flip it. Do one here and here. That'll make it a little bit more accurate. Okay, so then what I want to do is I want to put another line in between each of those marks that I just did. So I need to do one in between here, 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 and here. So I'm going to have 8 green marks total. So if you want to, you know, take your ruler and kind of measure that and find the center, you can. I am just going to eyeball it. It does not have to be perfect. It just needs to be kind of close. Okay, so now I have 8 green, or whatever color you're using, Sharpie for your Sharpie, 8 green lines. Now I'm going to take my second color Sharpie and I'm going to put a line in between each of these. And I'm going to try to center it as well as I can. So I have 8 green and now I'm going to have 8 of this kind of pinky color. Remember, it doesn't have to be exactly in the middle. It just needs to be pretty close. Okay, so now I have 16 lines. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut a little notch. I don't want to do it really far in because that's just going to pull my string all the way in there. A little notch on every one of those lines. Now, as you're doing this and making Kumahimo, these will kind of whiten as you use them, but at the very beginning, I think it's just probably going to be a little bit difficult to get your yarn inside of those little notches. So if you're like, oh, I can't get my yarn inside there, here's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to just cut a tiny little notch out of there, but you can't cut a big notch or else it won't hold your yarn. So, I mean, just like cut a little triangle. Let me see. Can you see how I cut like a tiny little bit of it out? Let me show you this one. I did that one line and right next to it, really close to it, I'm going to cut another one and just kind of use my finger to kind of take it out and see how it kind of cuts a little notch in there. That's what you want to do if your strings are like having a hard time getting into the little sections, okay? So set this up nicely because if you do this well, you're going to be able to use this for a while. It should last you. But if you use like junky cardboard, most likely it's going to break or bend. Okay, so once you do that all the way around, the last thing you have to do is poke a hole in the middle. Please be careful, you guys. I don't want to hear about anybody cutting themselves. So right in the middle, I'm just going to take my scissors, and this might be a good grown-up job. And I'm just going to poke a hole in the middle, and then take my scissors and just kind of poke it, and I just kind of do a little spin with my scissors, and it makes it big enough that I'm going to be able to get my knot in there. Now our styrofoam, it kind of expands and it allows you to kind of push it through, but cardboard won't, so you're going to have to make sure you make that hole big enough to put your knot through. So just try it. If it is not big enough, then you can make it bigger. All right, you guys, this is how you make a Kumahimo loom on your own. If you have any questions, or if you don't have any cardboard at home, let me know. I'm sure I have some old boxes back in the back room here. And have fun. If you want one of those challenge pattern sheets that have all those cool different patterns, let me know. I have those for you. You guys can take them home and use those. This is like a really fun summer project. You know what? I love doing this on road trips. My daughters and I do this a ton on road trips while we're kind of, in the car when I won't let them be on their iPads. So, anyway, have fun. Talk to you guys later. Oh, I'm back. I forgot. I wanted to show you guys how to set these up for those of you who are taking these home. Okay, so if you're going to do a traditional Kumahimo, which is this pattern here, then you're going to need 4 pieces of yarn in one color and 4 pieces of yarn in another color, okay? These need to be about, I always kind of say like from my fingertips to my elbow. That is about a really good length for like making a bracelet, okay? All right, so we're gonna take our knot and push it through that hole. I had to make my hole a little bit bigger, so make your hole a little bit bigger. Now, let me warn you, if you're gonna be using embroidery floss, which is like that thinner one that I use to make these guys, then your hole, you don't want it to be that big, okay? Okay, so take one color, let's start with the white, and I'm going to put it, 2 of them right next to each other in these 2 notches. It doesn't really matter where you guys start, as long as they are right next to each other here at the top, and then right next to each other at the bottom. Okay, I haven't made some of these notches big enough. Remember how I was showing you how to cut some of those notches? So I probably need to make my notches a little bit bigger in order for this to fit. That's kind of that problem I was telling you, how like my yarn isn't fitting. So I probably need to go ahead and go all the way around my circle and cut tiny triangles out of each of these. That will help me. Bear with me here, you guys. This is a good time for you to maybe work on also cutting little notches. Make sure they're really small, like little tiny, the tiniest like pizza slices you can make in there, okay? All right, so then right below that, I'm gonna do the same color. So it's kind of like white, white, up, down, up, down. Okay, then I'm going to take the other color and go to the side, and the same color there and go to the side. So this is how you set it up. One color up and down, one color across. And doesn't matter which one you do. I like to make sure my strings are all nice and straight. I don't like to have them like, if they're twisted like that, I don't like that. So I'm gonna make sure they're straight. All right, now remember how we do this. We go bottom left up to the top left, top right, down to the bottom right, turn. Bottom left up to the top left, top right down to the bottom right, and turn. And I continue doing that over and over and over. I use both of my hands. When I do my left strings, I use my left hand, and when I do my right strings, I use my right hand. Some of you don't do that. You used to use one hand. That's totally fine. It just helps me to remember what I'm doing. I also like to keep my finger kind of right here in that middle spot because it helps that knot to stay put where I want it. Now, just a quick reminder, you're like, you set this down and you walk away from it and you're like, I don't remember if I'm on red or if I'm on white. So let's just look really quickly. See how my white string is on top of my red string? That tells me I just did that white, so I need to move on to red. So if you're confused, look at your yarn in the middle, see which yarn color is on top of the other color. So now my red is on top of my white, so I know I need to do my white. Okay, now I have a few friends that have a little bit of problem once in a while where their strings get really close to each other like this. That's okay, it doesn't mean that you messed up. All you have to do is just make sure you move these strings back next to each other in the right way. So don't crisscross them on accident or something. Make sure that they stay right next to each other, and then you can continue weaving. So if that happens, it doesn't matter. You can just move those strings back as long as you don't cross them over each other. Keep them in the right order, okay? So just keep doing this over and over and over again, and you'll have an awesome Kumahimo cord. It's already kind of starting down there. All right, friends, have fun.